How many of you have been in meetings where you've heard a question like this? What can the church do to keep our young people? Have you ever heard that question? What can the church do? What can the school do to keep our young people? And because of this question, then programs have been created to keep the youth in the church. And the dependency begins to grow. But the dependency grows even more beyond that, because it started with youth, but then somewhere along the way, people said, we're not only losing our youth, we're now losing them at the young adult level. And so we need to have programs to keep our young adults, and we need to have the programs to keep our young adults. And so we started having young adult programs, youth programs, and young adult programs to keep our young adults in the church. But young adults became too broad, and so folks started to say we need a collegiate ministry to keep our college kids in church. But we still need to reach our other young adults. And so we now have ministries for collegiate young adults and post-collegiate young adults. But then post-collegiate young adults became too broad, and people said, there's post-collegiate young adults that are married, and there's post-collegiate young adults that aren't married. And so we need programs for those too. And so now we have youth programs that keep our kids in the church, and young adult programs to keep our young adults in the church, and young adult programs for collegiates to keep them in the church, and young adult for post-collegiate to keep them in the church, and post-collegiate married and post-collegiate singles to keep them in the church. And now people have come to me and said, Pastor, we really need a program to keep our young adults with children in the church. Before long, we're going to have a program to say we need to keep our geriatrics that think they're young adults in the church. This system of dependency. But God's model, the biblical model, is parents lead their children into faith and truth. The church comes alongside and supports and affirms and trains and teaches the parents. But parents lead their children into faith and truth. Those children then grow up and lead their kids into faith and truth. And those children grow up and then lead their children into faith and truth. And before long, parents, we stop saying the church or the school needs to do blank before my kid leaves the church, because those kids are in the church because they've been led through their whole life by their parents, by the divine model that God had, and now they're leading their own children into the church.